being recorded. First of all, welcome, Miss Ballard. I'm so excited to be sitting down with you today. So we're going to spend about 45 minutes learning more about your experiences and your leadership style, and then I want to talk about your vision for your grade level. Now, before we confirm, I just want to double check what grade level are you interviewing for? Uh, yeah, and then we can go into the questions.
11th grade, grade level chair.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. What'd you say?
11th grade.
11th grade. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So, first, let's go ahead and can you start by telling me a little bit about your background and what drew you to apply for the GLC role?
What drew me to apply for the GLC role? I was once the GLC of ninth grade. And while doing that, I really did enjoy seeing the joy factors that we put in place, that me and my team put in place for the kids. I love getting their input on things. I love seeing them have fun. I love seeing them engaged. I love also informing them and showing them and not just telling them how important it is to get to class on time, how important it is to make sure you ask for that late work or submit that late work, excuse me, things like that. I just love to see the joy that kids have when it comes to academics. You don't see that a lot.
Okay. And then just tell me a little bit more about yourself, like what brought you to education and things like that. Like, where did you study at a school? What did you study? Yeah, tell me about you.
Okay, so I did study at Texas Southern University.
Go Tigers.
For my bachelor's is in communication, not education. What
Okay.
drew me to education, if I'm being honest, I got into education by a total accident. It was not on
Hmm.
purpose. I told myself that I would never be a teacher because that's just a lot. But I did a permanent substitute for eighth grade. And I took that role very seriously. I just wasn't there with the kids just to be there with them. I took it very seriously. I taught them, we learned, I got to know them, and I was like, this feels right. Something about this feels right. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was just like, I feel like I should be here. And so I stayed. And that's how we got here.
Hmm. Awesome. I love to get to know a little bit more about people and their experiences before we get deep into it. So these next couple of questions I'm going to ask you is going to be trying to understand your leadership philosophy and what's your alignment. I just want to understand your leadership mindset and then how you align with our campus values. So the first question is very simple. What does being a grade level chair mean to you?
What does it mean to be a grade level chair? To me, being a grade level chair means you serve both as a leader and as a supporter for my team. It's about being really creative or creating a sense of unity amongst not just leadership, but also the kids. So I feel like a grade level chair is also the messenger, but it's also the deliverer. You have to
Okay.
be the bridge in between. Also, as a grade level chair, I see myself as someone who helps streamline the communication between students and leadership and making sure that whatever that thing is, whether we're speaking about goals or joy factors, stay aligned with our goal, our morals. You also you model professionalism, positivity, problem solving. Ultimately, a grade level chair is about supporting teachers so they can do their best work. And when teachers thrive, students thrive.
Hey, I love that. So, how do you balance leading your peers while maintaining collaborative relationships with them?
So this particular question, balancing leading my peers can come with a little bit of difficulty. I say that because leadership could tell you something, hey, your team have to do this, and then by EOD, and it takes at least 5 hours to get done. Now I have to go and deliver that message to my team, and you just told me today, right? So maintaining that collaborative relationship, I try my best to focus on partnership rather than authority.
Mm.
I want it to be a collaborative space when we meet. So if I give you a task or I'm given a task to give to you, I'm not just going to say, hey, do this, make sure it's done. What do you need support with to make sure that this gets done? Oh, well, I needed to go make copies. How many copies do you need? Okay, your copies are done, so you can focus on whatever it is you need to focus on. I approached my role with humility. I think some leaders forget to do that by just recognizing my colleagues they're valuable. They have strengths. They also have growth areas. My goal is to create a space for everyone's voice, not to make decisions in isolation.
Okay. I love to hear that. So, with alignment and what our schools are looking for, and then also what we're looking for in Kip, Texas, I want to talk about how do you embody our core values. So I want to give you a list of our core values. And so, like, we champion equity, we chase excellence, we persist with purpose, we love to bring joy, and we love to rise together. So those are our core values, and I want to see how you embody those in your classroom, in your relationship with your students, and in your relationship with other teachers.
Okay, so for perseverance, for example, I remain committed to solutions or problem solving headspace when challenges do arise, whether it's adjusting instruction or pivoting, supporting a colleague, as we spoke about earlier, or navigating unexpected, as we spoke about earlier, obstacles. I try to stay focused and patient on what the task is. For example, as far as honor, I lead with integrity and respect. I don't expect my team to respect me if I did not respect them first. So I don't expect them to offer any grace or respect if I did not do that first. Um, Quality, I set high expectations for my students, myself, my team. And I don't just set the high expectations, I help you meet those high expectations. Learning, I view myself as both a leader and a learner. Every day you learn something new. In my leadership, I aim to bring value to everyday life because we got to go to work every day, right? Except for like Saturday and Sunday, right? So your work should be a place where you collab with your peers, you feel supported so you can get through those tough times. And I try my best to do that through my actions, and I try to keep my mindset on what it is we are here to do and how can we do that to the best of our abilities. And I think we can do that by supporting each other.
Okay. So with the core values, thank you for talking about perseverance, honor, equality, courage, and learning, which are our core values also. I also want you to tell me about a time you led a team through a challenge, and what did you learn about yourself, and what did you just learn in general?
Okay. One challenge I led my team through recently was when we received the beginning of the year data showing that a significant portion of our students were struggling with particular standards, right? For example, like poetry. Oh, we know that's a tough one in English. And the team felt overwhelmed. My team did feel overwhelmed. Even I felt overwhelmed at one point, because you think you do your best as far as teaching it and supplementing and making sure that your kids get it, right? And so the steps that I took was the first thing I did is I facilitated an opening, non-judgmental conversation where everyone could share concerns and insights. For example, if you have a problematic student, hey, during this lesson, my kids weren't able to get it because of so and so and so and so, or was it internalization? Did you not get it? Because there are some things that I do miss even with my own internalization. We looked closely at the data together. We identified where the misunderstandings were happening. Then we collaboratively plan a reteach cycle by splitting tasks based on each teacher's strength, sharing resources, and aligning on common formative assessments. For example, the end of unit. Where is this going to show up later on in the unit? Also within the unit exam. It doesn't show up on the end of unit exam. Let's go back and look at the past STAR test. Does it show up there? Is this a standard that we really need to hone in on to make sure our kids get or our students get so they can be successful? By the end of that, the students showed significant improvement. We did a reteach, and at the end of those reteaches, we gave them about a 5-question quiz. Practically almost 95% of our students passed this exit ticket, and the team felt more alive. They were excited. My team was excited. They was like, oh my God, they actually got it. We have to do this again. We have to continue to move like this when we see those misconceptions.
So I hear a lot about what you did with your team as a collaborative approach. What did you learn about yourself in that process?
I learned about myself in that process that even the best know their content people make mistakes. I made the same mistake, right? Sometimes when you've been in education for so long, you think you got it. You think I got this. I'm gonna do 1, 2, and 3, and that's just what we gonna do. And we subject our kids to learning how everyone else learned before. And that does not always work. So even, myself, I had to take a bit of humble pie and realize this approach did not work for these particular students. What is an approach that I need to take in order for them to get these standards?
So we're gonna kind of shift our questioning here. We're gonna start talking about your instructional leadership. So we just talked about instruction in your classroom with your example. We're gonna start talking about instructional leadership, and we're gonna talk about getting academic outcomes. Because part of the GLC role too is making sure that you're able to have that academic support and data monitoring. So I'm just going to read straight from the description. So you'll be needing to review grade level assessments and gradebook data to ensure alignment with campus expectations. You'll work closely with teachers to plan targeted supports for students who are off track academically. And then you'll also partner with college counselors to ensure students are progressing toward college readiness benchmarks, especially with it being juniors and this is their first year of really looking at college readiness. That's going to be a big focus of your position. So this first question I'm going to ask you is how do you approach supporting teachers with lesson planning and internalization?
Sorry, I'm just processing all the bullet points that you gave me. Okay. So when it comes to internalization, I think it's very important to know and state that not every teacher teaches the same first. I think it's important to go and observe your team to see how that teacher teaches and how you can support them in how they teach. So I think we can start with clear expectations. First off. Um, Second is modeling the internalization and facilitating the internalization in our content team time. What does it look like? I can tell you, hey, you need to have strap mode. Hey, you need to have more CFU questions. But what does that look like? Not every teacher, again, we do not all think the same. So the depth of my brain when I say CFU is something totally different for a first year teacher or a second year teacher or a third year teacher. Those are totally different things. I need to show them and guide them in what it means when I say CFU. Leveraging the strengths across the team. What are you good at? What are you good at? How can you come together during CTT and build on each other's internalization? Also, provide tools, not extra work. Those are two different things. So I want to support in designing to make a plan like easier, not heavier, So like templates, exemplar responses, pacing guidance, quick check for understanding questions, as I named, that teachers can plug in directly into their lessons. So even if that looks like I come up with the CFU questions and then I give them to my team and say, hey, where does this question live? How can this question live within your exemplar? And then also always, 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 always maintain a growth culture.
Uh, thank you for that. So I just dropped in the chat the description of the job position just in case you need to look over it again. My next question for you was kind of a twofold question. So I'm going to ask both of them, and then you can answer however you see fit. So the way that it goes is, how have you used data to improve instruction or student outcomes? And then describe how you supported a colleague in improving their classroom practice with their data.
Okay. Um, far as data, as far as how I use it, I use data as a tool for clarity and I let the data dictate my action. For example, when I noticed like through an exit ticket and a short cycle assessment that students were consistently struggling with multi-step word problems. So, for example, the mix and match that's on the English assessment, or clarifying the definition of a word they never heard before. A lot of students go directly to, can I get a dictionary? That, yeah, you can, but that eats up 15, 20 minutes of your time trying to find the word. And then you're going to call me over there and say, that word is not in the dictionary. Well, that's not necessarily the word you should be looking for. You should be looking for the root word. So then that tells me we need to go back to understanding root words and context clues, because not every word you should be looking up in the dictionary. Some words you need to be able to decipher and effectively and quickly. I analyze the student work. What did you miss? Which is where the deconstruction comes in. What happened? I need to see your brain on paper because I can't look in your head. I need to see it on paper so I can pinpoint the exact misconception and where that took place. I also do a lot of small groups and reteaches based on data. Majority of my students are grouped together based on their data in the second block. Many problem talks to build reasoning and vocabulary. Use this word in a sentence. What does it mean? By me using a word in a sentence, what do you think I'm saying? Oh, I think you're saying this. I think you're saying that. Well, what in that sentence helps you understand that? Because a lot of times they can tell you verbally, when it goes to putting it on paper, it does not correlate or it's not transferable for them. And then, of course, progress monitoring with the Strata. So that was all for how I use data. As far as how I can support my colleagues in improving their classroom practices, again, I believe I said it's very important to observe your team. It's also very important to co-create. Again, that's going back to that collaborative space. Been teaching for a minute. A lot of times you see a lot of hierarchy. Do this because this is the way it works. Do this because I said so. Do this because this is the way I do it, and I know it works. And that doesn't fit into that particular teacher's culture. So now I'm more stressed out about how to effectively use this when we could have co-collaborated on something that actually works for my classroom culture that I've already established with my students. Back to that co-teaching. Hey, do you feel comfortable with me coming in your classroom and kind of co-teaching with you on how this works? You take the left side, I take the right side, and not just coming in and doing it, because some teachers don't feel comfortable with that. And a lot of people take that personal, where they feel as though if a teacher says, I'm not comfortable with you just coming in here like that. Well, I'm trying to grow you. Again, that's very top down. That's not collaborative. Allow people the opportunity to say, hey, I am comfortable with that, or no, I'm not comfortable with that. Can we do it a different way? Because then it's communication between two adults, and then that trickles down to the kids. Because if you're trying to grow me, then you should be trying to understand me as well. You cannot grow me and not understand me. You cannot grow me and not know how I maneuver. You cannot grow me and not know that I don't like to be seen or to it look like to my students that I don't know what I'm doing, because then my kids lose respect for me. And then like celebrating the growth as needed. Say, hey, if your kids score a friendly competition, two English teachers, whoever kid scores the highest, we're gonna do a pizza party. We're gonna do cupcakes. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. Celebrating that growth, letting the growth be known. Like, I don't care if you move 2 metrics or 15 metrics. Growth is growth, and I'm very proud of you for doing that.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that because I think a lot of teachers and students can get stuck on the, oh well, it's not mastery or it's not approaching mastery, and even our kids that are like not approaching mastery, they're still growing in some type of way. So I appreciate that. Um, and so with this grade level chair position, you'll also be working very closely with our department chair. And so, how do you ensure that there's academic rigor and equity across all classrooms? How are we raising the bar and not lowering it across classrooms?
Again, I think that goes back to clear expectations across the board. If the expectations are not clear across the board, that is when you have a lot of misconceptions with your team. And then that leads down to misconceptions with the kids. Supporting lesson internalization, that's where it all starts. It all starts in internalization. That's where it starts. So if we have those co-collaborative internalizations, like, hey, sit with Miss So and so and work on more food for thought questions, thoughts or questions that'll make them think about certain things, instead of, I know when when I first started, I would be just a teacher who would be very procedural with my questions. Did you get it? Did you not get it? And based on this question, I'm gonna know if you got it or if you didn't get it. That does not benefit them when I'm not around.
Right.
The questions they should be asking themselves, I struggled with on how to get myself to understand they don't know this. Because I could read the story and automatically know this is what the author means by this. Well, how did you get there? I don't know. I just know. I just know this is like common sense. This is common sense for grown college graduated adult. Yes, this is not common sense for a high schooler. Again, we're going back to that, using that data equity lens, providing planning instruction, high quality, not just any type of planning instruction, high quality planning instruction. Again, that also relies on the coaching, high expectations. What are your expectations as my coach? What must I, like, when you come in a room, what is a non-negotiable? This is what should be happening. Period, point blank. I'm not gonna say that. That's later. Creating also just like a cultural reflection, I can say, because I was gonna say that also requires a teacher to be receptive, but reflective is a better word. To be reflective on, I came in a room, this was good, but how can we better this portion? Instead of, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. A lot of people don't respond to that. This was great. This was great. This was great. However, I saw some of this, but let's work on this together. I want to push you. How can I push you to be better in this portion? How can I support you, not what I think I should support you, or how I think I should support you?
All right. Okay. So we're going to shift our questions again. because we're going to start talking about culture and communication and collaboration. And I'm going to just read again the position you're applying for. So the second part of your key responsibility is student support and culture. So that comes with monitoring student attendance, their behavior, their academic performance, which we just talked about, to identify their trends and then have an intervention early. The next part is to lead implementation of grade level cultures. So I'll be giving you what the culture is for the grade level. How are you going to internalize that and put that out for the grade level, which also includes incentives. Yes, grade levels do get a budget. Of course, it's not that big of a budget because it's the education department, but I can step in and support where I can. And so also, what does consequences look like for your grade level? What does celebrations look like? Another thing that you'll be in charge of for student culture is coordinating interventions for students needing additional academic behavior support and behavior support. So whether that is like after school tutorials or before school tutorials, there's a budget for that too. That won't come out of your grade level budget. And then the next thing is to build strong relationships with students to foster belonging and motivation and accountability because we want the kids to be coming to school. And with administrators, of course, they're like administrators are not on the floor. So your grade level chair is the in between person that is the administrator, but is also the relatable teacher too. So that's where we're shifting with these next couple of questions. So first question is, how do you build strong relationships with teachers, students, and families?
By being consistent, authentic, and deeply invested in their success, whether that comes one on one with my students or one on one with the parent or both. Again, that comes with leading respect. Yes, these are kids, but they need to be respected in order to respect you. This is a partnership between you and the child. The child spends more time, or the student, excuse me, the student spends more time with you than they do at home. There needs to be some type of relationship, some type of trust. Communication needs to be clear, and there also needs to be a definite follow through. You did Y, here's Z. This is why you got that consequence that you did. These kids know. The students know. A lot of them will be like, you right, miss. You right. You told me that 2 minutes ago. You right. And I did it anyway. Offer support, not judgment. When you come in a classroom, no student who that's probably the only jacket that they have, they don't need to be told take it off because it's not the right school color. Have a
Mhm.
conversation with that student. Let them know, hey baby, that's not the right school color, but what's going on? Do you have another jacket? Be genuine, be supportive, ask the questions. Do you have another jacket? And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, I got another one. Okay, well, take that off. You know, doggone well. No, I don't have another jacket, or I don't have any school clothes. Then, okay, I'm not going to make you take the jacket off because you don't have any school clothes. I'm going to flag it for who I need to flag it for so we can get you some support. Send out communication regularly with parents. I know I send communication regularly with my parents and not just about behavior, not just about grades, not just about Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, wishing your family well, whatever the case, whatever it is. So they know when I do contact them about a behavior or contact them about something, I'm not just contacting them, it's a reason.
Okay. So this next question is a scenario I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to ask you the question. So halfway through the semester, you notice a growing tension between two 11th grade teachers. We're going to call them Miss Torres and Mr. Coleman. Okay.
Hmm?
Miss Torres recently shared with you that she feels consistently taking on extra responsibilities during grade level events and student interventions. She feels overwhelmed and believes her workload isn't being shared equitably. Meanwhile, Mr. Coleman has been arriving late to grade level meetings and has missed several deadlines, which has contributed to Miss Torres's frustration. The tension between them has started to spill into the group. During last week's team meeting, the conflict became public when Miss Torres made a sarcastic comment about being the only reliable person, and Mr. Coleman became immediately defensive, shifting the tone of the room. The meeting's productivity dropped, and the rest of the team appeared uncomfortable and disengaged. As a grade level chair, you need to address the conflict before it affects the student support team morale, or culture you're responsible for maintaining. So, how would you approach the situation and handle the difficult conversations with both team members?
I would approach the situation with clarity, empathy, and focus on the solution rather than, oh, it's his fault, it's her fault, or blame. I would start with listening to each person and understanding where they're coming from. I'm going to be asking all the clarifying questions and making sure everyone feels seen and heard. And then I'm going to address the issue directly. I'm going to approach the person privately. We're going to speak with honesty, respect, and we're going to clear the concern, focusing on behavior and the impact, not personal traits. So, and then we're going to use a problem solving solution. You have been showing up late to grade level meetings. Do you think that's fair on the rest of the team? That's not fair for the rest of the team because they are held responsible for being here. If you show up late again, it will be a write-up. It's going to be a formal email. It's going to be whatever it needs to be. Or you need to communicate on if you're going to be late. I don't need to know why. I don't need to know how. I just need you to let me know, hey, I'm going to be 2-3 minutes late. And then we're going to have a restorative conversation with those team members because at the end of the day, you're on the same grade level. You see the same kids. You will be in the same meetings. You will be in the same room with one another. So therefore, there needs to be a clarifying and restorative conversation between them two so we can approach as a united front in front of our students. Because we have to protect the team culture at all times because that is the most precious thing it's hard to build and it's hard to keep.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of role play. So let's just say I'm Mr. Coleman and I'm the one arriving late to grade level meetings and I missed several internal deadlines. What would your conversation look like with me? Especially after I became defensive in the meeting and I shifted the tone of the room and like just made everybody disengaged and uncomfortable. What would be your one-on-one conversation with Mr. Coleman, which is me?
Okay. So I just want clarity. So we are role playing as if I'm having that conversation already.
Yes.
Okay. After the room switch, we're gonna get through what we got to get through, and then I'm gonna say, "Hey, Mr. Coleman, can I speak to you for a second?
Sure.
How you been? How you doing?"
I'm good, just chilling, just doing what I gotta do, trying to stay out the way.
Yeah. I've noticed that you missed a couple deadlines. Is everything okay? Do you need extensions?
Nah, I'm just a firm believer when I don't want to work anymore, I don't want to work at home. So it doesn't get done.
Okay. I love that boundary actually. That is a great boundary to have. How can we keep our boundary, right? Because I want you to have that work-life balance, but also make sure we are adhering to our deadlines here.
I guess I could be proactive about getting the work done earlier and just asking for some help if I need it.
Yeah, let's start doing that. Let's start there. And if you do need an extension, I don't mind giving you an extension. I just need to know that you need an extension.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
cool.
There's something else I wanted to talk to you about. What you kind of had a little blow up in the grade level meeting with Miss Torres. What's going on there?
I just didn't like the comment she made about saying that she's the only reliable person. She's never asked me for help. No one's really ever asked me for help. And I get it. I don't put myself out there to be asked for help, but no one's ever asked you. So you can't say that you're the only reliable person when I can help where I can too.
Okay, I respect your feelings. I hear how you feel. Let me ask you a question though. If you're not meeting your deadlines and you're showing up to grade level meetings late, does that seem reliable?
I guess not. No.
Right? So if we are going based on what reliability means, would I ask you to do something for me and you have not been showing up?
No.
So could you understand her frustration?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I think I want to do is that we need to have a restorative conversation with myself, you, and Miss Torres, just so we can continue to have the grade level culture that we do. And so we can all just get back on the same page and remember why we're here. Are you up for that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I will send a follow-up email with the next steps.
Okay, awesome. And see, I think that was a great scenario. I think, yes, hit it right on the money. That's what I was looking for too, is for you to have that conversation and like not be timid about having that conversation, but then also following up with an email. Because what we want to do is follow up with an email just in case the occurrence doesn't get better. We have that documentation so that way we can build from there. Not saying we want anybody to lose their job or we don't want anybody to get written up or get anybody in trouble, but just to protect you and say that, hey, I had this conversation so it doesn't fall back on you. Great job with that. So, thank you for acting that out. We're going to move into the next part, which we're going to start talking about your vision for 11th grade. And this
Mhm.
doesn't have to be long and drawn out. I just want to hear some things that have boggled in your mind, so you don't have to like spend too much time on it. But so, if you're selected for this position, what would be your priorities for your first 60 to 90 days as the grade level chair?
60 to 90,
So those first 2 to 3 months,
2 to 3
especially when we
months.
hit school, so like August, September, October, what are going to be your focus and be your priorities for those positions?
I definitely want to
Not for
establish
the
strong
position.
relationships with my
Okay.
team. I want to assess my team needs and resources so we can get the ball rolling on that as fast as possible. Um, come out the gate with the clear goals and expectations. This is what we will not do as a team, and this is what we can do as a team. Just so there's no, oh, I never heard that before. No. Provide targeted support. What do you need as a teacher of your subject? What do you need? Because I can provide support to the whole team generally, but that may not be something you need. So I want to support my teachers individually because they are their own person. They have their own struggles. Everybody have their own thing going on outside of here. And then foster just a positive collaborative culture. We can all go in one room, my classroom, their class. I never wanted to be, oh, we're always meeting in her classroom. Nope. Who want to host the meeting this week?
I love that.
We're gonna go in Taurus's classroom this week, y'all. She teaches world geography or something. So we all gonna go over there and learn something about that. We all gonna go in there and see what her strengths are. She's gonna model um teach for us, and we're gonna see what her models are, and we're gonna see how we can empower her and help her. What are some pivot moves or some teacher moves that she could do to better engage the students in this lesson? So yeah.
Okay. So, what systems or routines would you establish to promote consistency and accountability? We're not talking about just your team, we're talking about your grade level. So, what systems and routines would you establish to promote consistency and accountability?
Weekly team check-ins for sure. Everyone's gonna have their own personal time with me. We're gonna do regular, I guess you could say regular like analytics of their students' data. Who are our bracket babies? Who do we need to push? How can we push them? Planning and alignment, making sure that we're all aligned. This is everything that we need to do. If it's about deconstruction needs to look the same across all contents. It doesn't matter. Then that is something we can focus on across all contents. It doesn't matter. We all need to be aligned with that. We all need to have, if not the same, just about in some form of way when it comes to teacher moves and classroom expectations and practices. And then celebrating progress and reflection.
So, thank you for talking about your team. Let's talk about the grade level. So, what routines can we establish? What tendencies are you seeing on your grade level, and what routines can we like establish for your students? Because you're gonna be a GLC, so well, I mean, not going to. If you are presented with this position, you'll be over approximately 148 students. So, what
Mhm.
systems and routines would you promote?
So those were some systems and routines. So, for example, the weekly meetings, weekly grade level meetings, or bi-weekly grade level meetings, and those collaborative goals. Hey, this is where we landed for GPA. Everyone should have a 3.0 GPA. Right now, only 50% of us have that. We need to lock in. We need to get it together. Whatever. Right now, our attendance rate is 99.8. That is our goal. Right now, we only are meeting 65%. Come to school. You come to school, you win this. Or you come to school, if we meet our goals by the next grade level meeting, you get a field trip. We meet our goals, we get pizza. We meet our goals, we do this. And then those classroom practices and expectations are definitely need to be set for the kids. You're not eating in everybody's class. We're not doing that. Y'all don't like to clean up behind yourself? No. And then you always complain about the classroom being dirty. We're not doing that. No eating in the classes. Eat in transition, put it in trash. There's multiple trash cans around the campus. Eat at lunch. Eat before school, eat after school. You are not eating in anybody's class. How do you
Hmm.
behave when you come in a room? You know you quiet, you sit down, you grab your do now, you start working immediately. I shouldn't see anybody out of their seat. I shouldn't see nobody play fighting. I shouldn't see nobody doing any of that because you know the expectation.
Hmm. So, with you being a grade level chair, theoretically, you'll be working with the student culture team, and you'll be working with like the dean of students, the director of student support, and just the school culture, which we talked about a little bit earlier. So, what ideas do you have to improve collaboration or the student experience at our campus?
Enhance the student experience.
Hmm.
So implement school-wide projects, reading challenges, problem-solving tasks, creativity, real-world connections, student voice, maybe some surveys that are just campus-based. What do you want to see? What kind of clubs do you want to have? Instead of just saying, hey, these are the clubs we do have. What kind of clubs do y'all want to have? Because these clubs are for them, so why are they not picked by them?
Right. Okay. So now we're going to come into our closing and our next steps. So first, I want to ask you, do you have any questions for me about the GLC role or expectations or supports that I could provide for you if you step into this role?
How is collaboration currently structured across the grade level?
So collaboration, your question for me.
Yes.
Okay, so beautiful. So your collaboration across your grade level specifically, you'll be working with 8 other teachers. And so that'll be it's 7 other teachers. It'll be the English 3 teacher, the AP Lang teacher, AP Psychology, Music, AP US History, You'll also have Algebra 2 on your team because we do have juniors that take Algebra 2 and then AP Physics. So those 7 teachers will be on your team because mostly all juniors will take them. So that'll be your collaboration across your team specifically. When we're talking about the school culture, we'll have grades 9 through 12. Those GLCs will be on a separate team as far as the student culture team. You'll report directly to the DOS for your grade level, and then the DOS will report to the principal or myself, and we can have those conversations. So that's what the collaboration looks like. Is that, um, and I hate to use the word directly report because that seems like a top-down system, and I want us to have a collaborative system. So if you need something and you don't want to go to the DOS, you can come straight through me, or if like you need something you don't want to go through me, you can go through DOS, and then that's a collaborative space also. So that's what collaboration looks like across as the grade level. Any other questions?
What is the school's top priorities this year? And how
I-
can the GLC role most directly contribute to them?
Okay. So our big priorities, especially for 11th grade, is attendance because attendance has been dropping just historically, especially with COVID. And I don't think COVID is an excuse anymore, but the chronic absenteeism. So our goal for our school is to have a 95.5% attendance rate. And so that means we need students coming to school, we need them coming to class, and we need them to be in class. So, and with this group of 11th graders that are coming in, we have a lot of student roamers. So they'll be in the restroom for 10, 20, 30 minutes, right? And so, like, making sure that that system is put into place. However, you want to implement that system with your grade level. What does the restroom time look like? We say as a grade level, I mean, we say as a school that their restroom passes are 5 minutes. So, if anything over 5 minutes, what does the implementation look like? What do you, as a grade level chair, want to implement as a disciplinary action if they go past that? So, you'll have that choice and that autonomy. Also, another focus for us is just bringing joy into the classroom, especially junior year can be a very stressful year because they got SATs, they have college readiness, and things like this is their first year in a seminar class. So prepare them for a senior seminar. So that can be pretty stressful too. And so that's also our focus too, is our junior seminar class, which I forgot to mention that teacher will also be on your team too, but she'll teach junior seminar, and so we're focused on their scores, their writing, and things like that. So those are our like big three focuses: is school culture, attendance, and then also junior seminar.
Mhm. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't covered yet?
Um, I'm just deeply committed to producing a high rigor learning environment with a collaborative culture. Yeah.
Well, Ms. Ballard, thank you for your time. I know it's late, and I know we're getting ready to go on Thanksgiving break, so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for spending time with me for these. It's been approximately about an hour, and just sharing your ideas for what your grade level, what you would like for a grade level. You should expect to hear something back from me by Friday. If you don't hear anything back from me by Friday, then I'll definitely have something for you on Monday. Anything else?
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. You also enjoy your Thanksgiving break.
Thank you.